Well, hello there everybody, and welcome, yes, welcome back to Total War. Now, perhaps not the Total War you were all expecting from me as my next series. You were expecting Three Kingdoms, right? And some of you were probably looking forward to that, but I've put that on hold a little bit whilst I get to grips with it. But I didn't want to waste any more time. I wanted to play something else on the channel to go alongside Pathfinder, and this seemed to fit the bill. It gets me back into the Total War mood. It's an expansion pack from the original Rome game. It's not a full-blown game, so it should be a shorter campaign. So, it ticked all the boxes, and it's almost like going full circle, because the very first LP that I ever did was Medieval 2, as a lot of you will know. And the reason why I did that was because I didn't finish playing Medieval 2 on a single-player campaign before I LP'd it. I've never finished Barbarian Invasion, even though I bought it when it came out. And therefore, because I've never finished it, my intention is, like with Medieval 2 when I first LP'd that, is to finish it on camera. Give me a reason to finish a game that I would like to finish but never got around to finishing. So that's another reason why I've picked this. So yeah, apologies if you're still looking forward and waiting for Three Kingdoms. It will be coming, but this seemed something that I wanted to do, and I'm in the mood to do, and that's the important thing. I tend to play games that I'm in the mood to play. So Barbarian Invasion, here I come, and I hope you're looking forward to it, because I certainly am. There won't be an official roleplay, but still welcoming your input in the comments and in the streams that will be coming up, and let's see if we can create together some more memorable characters, because that's what I love about these older Total War games, the family tree, the traits, the stats, the ability to create memorable characters. So let's hope that we can do that once again. So, who am I going to pick, you might ask? Well, you can blame Shelley for that, for this choice. One of the mods on the Discord and the streams as well, because he mentioned something yesterday in the Pathfinder stream, and I was like, you may have been joking, Shelley, but I actually quite like the idea of what you've just suggested. So let's take a look, shall we, at who we're going to be playing as in Barbarian Invasion. So the year is 363. The Roman Empire is split into the east and the west. It's basically in a state of danger. Barbarians are swarming from all ranks. You've got the Visigoths, you've got the Huns, and there's got troubles from barbarian tribes closer to their fringes, such as the Celts, for example, and you've also got the rise of the Saxons and things of that nature. So yeah, attacked on all sides, basically. So who are we going to play as? We could play as one of the Roman factions, try to repel the barbarian hordes and try to maybe reunite the empire, or we could in fact play as one of those hordes, or in fact, even better is, we could play as a faction that rises up pretty much almost out of nothing and starts from complete scratch. I love starting Total War games with factions that are really small. I hate starting as factions that are already quite large and spread out. I hate it. So, say hello everybody to the Romano-British. I am renowned for playing as Britain or England in a lot of my campaigns in Grand Strategy games, because I'm kind of like, I like to stick with type. And in Roman themed games, I like to play as Rome more often than not, although I did pick the Carthaginians last time. So combining the two factions that I tend to play as most often and like best, you've got the Romano-British. It's perfect. It's flipping perfect. So thank you, Shelley. Facepalm emoji incoming. this was absolutely fantastically perfect as a faction choice. So here's the blurb, which I shall leave you to read at your leisure. Yeah, we're going to play on hard campaign difficulty. We're going to play on medium battle difficulty because it's down as a very hard faction to play as to start with. We might ramp this up when I get more of a handle on the units. I've never played Barbarian Invasion for a very long time. Didn't play this anywhere near as much as the original Rome. So just going to use this as a get my hand in and then turn this up a little bit perhaps after a few battles. Yeah. So there you go. 14 settlements, including a couple of key ones. So it's essentially a short campaign. A nice little teaser, wet the whistle before Three Kingdoms. So yeah, absolutely fantastically perfect. Now apparently it's an emerging faction. It simulates things leading up to the faction's appearance, and therefore the world will be slightly different every time you start the game, which is pretty cool. But I do have one that I started earlier in true Blue Peter fashion. Here's one I prepared earlier. Not that it makes a difference because I've not really started, so I could have created a fresh one, but I've kind of already had a look at the faction as it is currently. So it starts off literally as a one army faction. No land, no settlements, just an army, which is an interesting concept. A challenging concept to start with, because this army dies in a battle. We could try to, take one of these settlements and end up dead in the first turn. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, there's a little bit of a blurb to start the campaign off before we dive in the next session. There's no gameplay here. This is an introductory session. I was supposed to stream this today. You're seeing this on Wednesday, but I completely forgot that I had something else booked in. So rather than give you nothing, I'll give you this intro video and hope to get this streamed to you guys as soon as possible. But anyway, so yes, we start off as Motius Septimus, our faction leader, and his band of merry men. So what on earth has happened here? Well, not too long previous, the Eastern Roman Empire started to embrace Christianity. Over here in the West, where they are very much still pagan, Christianity not quite so embraced, and anybody that tries to embrace this newly pushed Christianity, anybody that embraces that gets a little bit, well, looked down upon is the polite way of putting things. And as you'll notice, our good old Motius Septimus is indeed Christian. So as the former governor of Londinium of the Western Roman Empire, he was found out to be trying to spread the Christian religion in the region. Hence why it's currently, if we can see it, it's Londinium is pagan to the tune of, it should be here somewhere. I found it before and I'm struggling to find it again. I think it was pagan to the tune of something like 79% or 80%, something like that. It wasn't 100. So some Christianity has been spread by Motius when he was the governor of the place, and didn't go too well with the upper echelons of the Western Roman Empire, and he was forcibly ousted from Londinium, ridiculed, shamed, and essentially banished. Hopefully never to be seen again. Now, there is a general here whose name escapes me, because I did the toggled fog of war to get his name, and it's completely gone out of my mind. But there's a governor here of Britannia Minor, whereas Britannia Inferior, this is Britannia Superior, and he's been tasked with heading down to Britannia Superior to man the fort until another governor can be found of a more befitting religion. Now, unfortunately for the Western Roman Empire, our Motius Septimus is a very belligerent man and not one to take things lying down. And he was a very popular governor because, as you can see from his traits, he was a very moral man, very firm personal morality. You know, ruled very fairly, and a man of high morals. So he had quite a few followers. So when he was ousted, he's rallied round and brought men that were closest to him and some of his own personal guard, and he's whipped up a following, which also includes some monks to help spread that Christianity and keep the morale of the men up. So here we stand outside the gates of Londinium, 363 AD, as essentially a brand new faction, the Romano-Briton faction, Romano-British faction, led by the ousted Motius Septimus, who is now going to make the Western Roman Empire pay for what they did to him. So that, my friends, is how this campaign starts. Will Motius be the founding father of a powerhouse of a faction in the future? Or will he just be a simple blot in the Western Roman history books as he dies trying to retake what was his? Time will tell. So join me in the next session, folks, as we find out just what happens next. If you've got any tips, hints, what he should do, where he should go, should he attack Londinium, should he maybe go straight for the governor who's tasked with coming down, because this place is much less defended, for example. Maybe we don't have any boats, so we can't really sail anywhere else, so we've not got much choice. There are the Celts in the north, barbarian factions, maybe less of a challenge than the Romans, maybe go for them first and then come down when we gather some strength and get some settlements behind us. The possibilities are not quite endless, but there's a few of them. So if you've got any thoughts about what good old Septimus should do, then feel free to leave a comment. Feel free to leave a comment about your thoughts and feelings about the upcoming campaign. Shouldn't be long, but I'm hoping it's going to be fun. So yeah, we're back, baby. Total War is back on the menu. Join me next time as we press on with Motius Septimus, the leader of the Romano-British. Until then, I'll see you soon.